Well, my dad had a brainstem stroke at the age of 59. And so from that time he couldn't work and had to sell his business and that sort of situation, and wasn't too physically impaired but did have an issue with balance. So they were 70 to 75 years of age. Mum rang me very excited that they had found a 3-bedroom villa in a retirement village, which they were really happy about. They had a great community, and they did say to me they really enjoyed their time at the retirement village, and it worked really well for them. So 10 years down the track, and the last 6 months of them being assessed needing rest home care, and where we are now has been a very difficult 6 months. And when I explain it to people what we're going through and what the legislation is and how these organisations run, they actually can't believe what we've been through and basically say, how can that happen? That's criminal. If they didn't have us, I'd hate to think where they would be. And it's caused a lot of stress. Even though we've been really supportive of mum and dad and have guaranteed them, financially the burden on my mum has been immense. I've had calls from her friends saying that they're worried about her. We felt it was really important to have our say, for people who will have a say, so that hopefully some change will happen, because really change does need to happen. Because these are hard-working people. My parents are hard-working people who worked all their life and had a reasonably good nest egg, and they will end up with basically nothing through this process. We had 2 of them requiring rest home care and needing to find a space for 2 of them. So that was the first part of the process, and because the village that mum and dad were connected to, who lived in, they had no space for mum and dad to transfer to a rest home facility. But mum was ending up in hospital due to the stress of looking after my father, really. So we knew we couldn't wait, and mum and dad do not get their money from their villa until it's relicensed onto someone else. Mum and dad have been in their retirement village for 10 years. During that 10 years, they got no capital gain, and as we all know, the housing market has increased so much over that time. No capital gain. Mum and dad bought their villa for just over $600,000. They were going to be getting it, once it was relicensed, just over $400,000 back. Yet the retirement village is selling that villa for $1.2 million. So that situation needs to change. We handed over their property, their villa, to the retirement village early December. We're now sitting mid-June. We still have not seen 1 cent of that $400,000. Meanwhile, mum and dad are in a rest home care, and we're meant to be able to come up with $600,000. But then again, the other side of this too is because we've had to move away from mum and dad's retirement village company family, and we couldn't do a transfer because they had nothing available for mum and dad, we are now in the same situation with this rest home care that we are going to lose 30% of the $600,000, the $300,000 for each mum and dad's room. So if you put that equation together, mum and dad, yeah, they had a reasonable nest egg. My dad used to, he was telling us how he'd be able to leave money for his grandchildren. That's not our reality at all going through this process. I think people really need to understand what they're signing when they're signing these OAs. They need to read it. They need to understand that the situation they're putting themselves in, because mum and dad, they were very happy for their time in their retirement village, but they really had no understanding of what they were signing and what that would happen for them later on in life. And because their retirement village did not have the next step for them, they didn't have hospital care, it meant they needed to move. And I think that's what people need to understand as well, that when they are signing the OA, that they get strong legal advice, and you need to look at what care is available for you after when you're needing rest home care, and the money side of it, and really understanding that these retirement villages take so much, and really it is criminal, and the financial stress is immense.